The heart of your teams, the heart of Michigan. Valley Sports Detroit, the heart of the fan.
Another beautiful night in downtown Detroit. We look across Comerica Park to Ford Field, where Frankenmuth returns for a second time in 3 years to the state championship game, looking for their first ever title. They'll be opposed by a team making its very first trip to the state finals in school history. It has been quite a few years for Gladwin as they make this trip south. These are two powerful teams representing two small towns, evenly matched. And we can't wait. The final two games of the championship weekend at Ford Field brings you the Flying G's of Gladwin. The Eagles of Frankenmuth. High school football on Valley Sports Detroit is presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Welcome inside Ford Field, everyone. Along with Justin Sassante, I'm Dan Dickerson. Justin, we're looking forward to this. The two small town teams meeting in the finals in Division 5 for the first time since 2008. And you've got teams that are looking for their first state title. Now, you've got a couple of teams in Gladwin and Frankenmuth, very powerful offensively, very powerful defensively. We're going to start with Gladwin because all they had to do to get here to their first state title game was beat the three-time defending champion, Grand Rapids Catholic Central.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They had a tremendous feat in front of them in the elements last week in the semifinals. Gladwin had to do it in all three phases of the game. They had to do it on defense, they had to do it on offense, and had 2 kick returns for touchdowns to beat the defending state champions and got them here. But what's really impressive is what they're doing on both sides of the football, defensive and offensively. And really, offensively, it starts up front with their big guys. It starts up front with their 2 seniors leading the way. You got Gage Sagano, you got Lincoln McKinnon, the 2 lone seniors, and they've opened up holes all year, rushing for over 3,500 yards of the season and 43 points per game. Just tremendous job by these big fellas opening up for the running backs.
We're going to see really powerful running games, ground games on both sides, but with Frankenmuth, we have to start by talking about their defense. Last week against Detroit Country Day, absolutely shut down an offense that had been pretty productive all year. The results were eye-popping.
Yeah, eye-popping is, again, we talked about this earlier, Dan, just an amazing feat defensively, not allowing a team, especially a tradition-filled program like Detroit Country Day, for a first down and negative 2 yards of offense. They also can do it on offense. They have over 3,500 yards rushing. They put up tons of points, but really starts with defense. Defense wins championships. It's what's driven Frankenmuth there. They are averaging under 5 points a game allowed on defense, and it starts with Dalton DeBow and Dane Reif, the 2 linebackers combining for over 130 tackles, 30 tackles for loss. They play downhill, they run side to side, they can drop in pass coverage, and they will be dependent on Frankenmuth linebackers today to slow down that Gladwin potent attack.
The consistency is really striking. 10 straight games for Frankenmuth where they have not allowed more than a single score going back to the early weeks of this season. This is a good one, the Division's 5 state championship game. Frankenmuth, Gladwin, both looking for their first ever state title. We've got the kickoff coming up in Division 5 next.
Week after week, big game after big game, you guys were doubted in every single one of those. So much so that a lot of the news people are calling you the Cinder Fellas, okay? Which to me, you should think of that as disrespect right there. The Cinder Fellas, like we're just some type of Disney miracle movie, okay? That they're just throwing us out there. Like we don't deserve to be here right now, okay? You guys deserve every little bit. It's not our fault that they didn't listen to us when we said we're gonna beat Grand Rapids Catholic. It wasn't our fault that they didn't listen to us when we said that Standish wasn't gonna be a problem. That's not our fault. Okay? So this time right now is your time. Before we go out there, I want you to think, okay? I want you to think about the first time you put on that football uniform, right? And I want you to think about what that kid would want and expect out of this game right now. I want you to think about what that kid, that free kid, would think about those people that are doubting you right now, because when push comes to shove, it's that little kid that went through the adversity to get you to where you're at right now, standing on this platform right here. The last thing that you need to do is you need to be the best version of yourself, play for your brothers, and play Flying G football.
Oh, yeah, that's how you get them fired up. We're disrespected, look out.
Whatever it takes.
Hey, they pulled off the upset that nobody thought they could pull off last week. Creighton Seeger to kick it off. Gladwin will kick it off to Frankenmuth to start the game. Barger, Bernthal, Rich are deep. That will go into the end zone. Creighton Seeger has a terrific leg. And that means first down for Frankenmuth starting at their own 20-yard line. Well, as we said, both of these teams like to run the ball, and this young man is in his first year as quarterback. Aiden Horde, he was a wide receiver last year, Justin. He's been outstanding. His head coach, Phil Martin, so impressed with how he has, as he put it, he has mastered this offense and done a terrific job running it.
Yeah, 537 points for the year, and he's been the field general, leading them passing and running. And it's going to be a very good feat today for Gladwin's defense to stop him.
Out of the shotgun, fakes the toss right, goes deep right, and good defensive play. Intended receiver was Hunter Bernthal, and Caden McDonald is out there to break it up. Good strong arm for Aiden Horde, but fine defense by Gladwin.
Yeah, and really good play call right off the rip here for Frankenmuth. You're going to expect the run. You got that double wing there. You're going to get buck trap and power and counter pull, but they come out and just loosen up the defense a little bit. I think either way, whether they caught that ball or not, it's a positive play for Frankenmuth. Get Gladwin expecting something else than just the run game.
Now, the Veer is a run-oriented offense, but head coach Phil Martin makes it very clear they will do a lot of things out of it. The give is right side, and after a hole for a moment, Griffin Barker was closed down pretty quickly. Again, Caden McDonald leading the way in game tackling. Take a look at that offensive line for Frankenmuth. Carter Weiss, you see him at right guard. Phil Martin, the head coach, said he might be the best lineman I have had in my 10 years here at Frankenmuth, and he's built quite the program. You look at Barger and Barker. Those are the two main guys in the backfield. They're going to get the bulk of the carries today. That's Barger in motion. Horde to throw, and as the receiver goes down, the flag flies. The intended receiver was Hunter Bernthal, and it looked like he tangled up his feet with Braden Ritchie.
Pass interference, defense, number 32, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, you get a lot of buck boot action here out of this double wing or veer look. You're going to get a little bit of a fake play action, and he's going to come back to the wing going across. You just cannot hit the guy before the ball is there, right there, and they get called for the pass interference. A big first down for Frankenmuth.
15-yard step off takes it out to the 38 for Frankenmuth. First drive of the day. Out of the shotgun, Aiden Horde, senior. Converted wide receiver, quick toss, right side. Boy, that's a swarming defense from Gladwin. Sam Barger on the little toss right. But boy, we're seeing Gladwin, the flying G's they call them, getting to the ball and getting to the ball very quickly. Look at that starting defense for Gladwin. Again, this is a team giving up just 9 points a game. They've got 8 two-way starters. Frankenmuth only has a couple. They're led by linebackers Kokotovich and S-line. Dominic Coates, the nose tackle, number 77, gets a lot of credit for the job he's done, tying up a couple of blockers on every down. Quick toss, right side in the backfield. Loss of 2. Earl Esline, also a running back in the backfield, setting up 3rd and long.
3rd and long here, you know, you might get a little bit the airs pinned back from the Gladwin defensive line, so maybe look at something with the screen, something that you can roll the quarterback out and give him a run option. Whatever Gladwin does defensively, they have to stay disciplined and do their job.
3rd and 12. Time called by Frankenmuth before this 3rd and long on the first possession of the day. We've talked about him. Phil Martin there is the head coach at Frankenmuth. Long-time coaching career that goes back 19 years. At Frankenmuth, he's been there 10 years. He's won at least 9 games every year. And what he's done is he's built a winning program there, Justin. His teams have gone 36-2 the last 3 years.
It's always amazing to see success in the communities, especially the small communities, that you don't have this huge portal to pull from, but they do a tremendous job of building culture.
As we were talking about earlier, this is kind of special when you've got 2 small town teams in the finals. It just doesn't happen very often. These 2 towns, both 5,000 and 3,000, you don't see it very often. Across the way, that's Mark Jarstfer in his 4th year, and what a program he has built in Gladwin. 1-8 his first year, and then a nice steady progression. 4-4 led to 9-1, and this year 13-0. 3rd and long for Frankenmuth. Horde looking right as a man wide open. That's Barger out on the flat, but a nice job by Gladwin to close down quickly before he could get to the first down marker. Again, Caden McDonald on the coverage. A gain of 8. They're going to mark him 4 yards shy. And it looks like Frankenmuth will punt it away. Travis Brenner, number 4, is their punter. And going back deep is Caden McDonald, whose name we called several times. Fine pass defense from him on that first series for Frankenmuth. Kind of a short line drive punt. McDonald does a nice job to pick it up so it doesn't roll inside the 10, and he's going to get it out to the 25-yard line. Thrown down there. And now Gladwin will go on offense after return of 12 by Caden McDonald. Both these teams come from north central Michigan. That's where I would call that where Gladwin is. That's about right? North central, and then from the thumb, Frankenmuth. Everybody in that town, we are told, probably from both towns, coming to the Ford Field today to this championship game. Of course, this is a big day for all the small businesses in Frankenmuth, so anybody who's not running a business, I guess is the way to put it, is here at Ford Field. Keeper Nick Wheeler is the quarterback. Nick Wheeler is a senior, 3rd-year starter. Mark Jarstfer calls him electric. Shifty as they come, and that's a big compliment. He said he can make people miss in the open field. A running offense. They've already got one back, Earl Esline, over 1,000. But Nick Wheeler, the quarterback, and Logan Kokatovich in the backfield also could go over 1,000 yards, just to give you a feel for how balanced this running attack is and all the different weapons they have. Give left side, nowhere to go. Swarming Eagles defense. Jake Vanderhaar in on the tackle there. Take a look at that offensive line. Aiden Samolak, Justin touched on him in the open. A mountain of a man, a young man, 15 years old at left tackle. Lincoln McKinnon, All-State at left guard. So you've got a big sophomore and a senior man in the left side of the line. Singano, McDowell, and Klein the rest of the line. Long throw, deep left sideline, will be caught but out of bounds. Trace Corlew III was the intended target. So the defenses that we highlighted in the open had both shown their strengths on the first 2 drives of this game.
Yeah, got to believe some nerves are getting out, but really good job by defensive back. You'd like to see him turn and get into the hip and get into phase, but that's what he was able to do, was use that sideline as an extra man and really squeeze him out and not allow the receiver to have a play on the ball.
Trayton Seigert, the kicker, is also the punter. This punt will be caught by Barger at his own 40 and tripped up as he got across the 45. Nice coverage that time by Gladwin's Braden Ritchie. Return of 7. Each team has had a possession, and we are scoreless 5 minutes into the Division V state championship game. Frankenmuth will get the ball for the second time today. Every time we work with Justin, we get the special sauce, the Sasante sauce. Give it to us today for Frankenmuth.
Yeah, Frankenmuth wants to do what they do. They want to control the clock, especially out of that Bear double wing offense. And defensively, they don't want to allow home runs. They're not an offense built to come and play from behind. Obviously, you see Gladwin doing some things as well, spreading the ball to run, but they are really set up to pass the ball a little easier than Frankenmuth.
Head coach Phil Martin calls it a veer offense. Think Air Force and Army, the offenses they run. But he really did make the point, and you've watched enough film to know they really do a lot of things out of that. It's not kind of the traditional veer that you might think of.
Yeah, definitely more dynamic. They have Swiss Army knife of an offense, and they'll definitely use all of it today.
Aiden Horde, the quarterback, will keep it left side. He's across the 50. That's a big gain on first down. Horde can throw it, as we saw, gained almost 700 yards on the ground this year. Again, the big backs you're going to hear, it's going to sound the same, but it's Barker and Barger in the backfield. Both of those guys have had big seasons, both over 700 yards. Barker led the team, number 27, with 860 yards coming into this game. The give is to him up the middle, and he's going to get down to the 35-yard line. Griffin Barker. Brady Garrett on the tackle for Gladwin. A gain of 7, but 2 big gains to start this drive for the Frankenmuth Eagles.
And Frankenmuth's offense will put a lot of pressure on your interior tackles, inside linebackers. You can get that buck trap, but you also can get dive, lead, and power. So you have to be really ready to have a lot of physicality in a game like this.
Your Watchcom is split out. Watchcorn is split out wide right. Give is up the middle, and there's not much there for Griffin Barker. Isaac Hale was the man to greet him just as he got back to the line. We'll call it a gain of 2. Setting up 2nd and 8. So again, both of these teams can throw the ball, but you're going to see a lot of ground game today. And that's why Aiden Horde, the quarterback who's in his first year, is so important to this offense. It's a lot of decision making. Head coach Phil Martin says we threw a lot at him this year, and this kid absorbs it and applies it as well as anybody he's seen. Barker in motion right. Horde looking to throw deep right, and in and out of the hands of his intended receiver. Brendan Shar was the intended target. Braden Ritchie on the coverage. We've seen really nice coverage for the most part in that defensive backfield.
Yeah, really good job, because as a Bear, the double wing doesn't typically show you as an empty set, and that's exactly what we got. And the DBs for Gladwin are doing a really good job of keeping their eyes out of the backfield, doing their job and taking care of their responsibility. It's the second pass breakup that we've seen today.
That sets up 3rd and long. Scoreless, just past the midway point of the first quarter of the Division V state championship game. Give up the middle and down to the 30-yard line, short of the first down. Dominic Coates, a terrific nose tackle there. Griffin Barker on the carry. That's going to set up 4th, and we'll call it 3. Frankenmuth has one of the best high school kickers in the state in Will Soulier. He's got 13 field goals. That's a total you just don't hear in high school football. They're not going to kick the field goal here, but it is something to keep in mind as this game gets down to the end. They'll let him kick it out to 50. Quick, short toss, left side. And short of the first down, Griffin Barker stopped by Logan Kokotovich. Gladwin comes up big after a couple of big gains to start the drive. The Flying G's stopped the Eagles.
Logan Kokotovich is just a tremendous football player. He jumps off on film when you're watching him. He's made 2 really good plays. You have to take away the dive or the trap, and then runs and gets lateral to make a big play there on number 27 from Frankenmuth, Griffin Barker. Good job by the defense standing and having a backbone early in the game here in the first quarter.
And again, Kokotovich, one of the big backs in the backfield for Gladwin. He'll get a breather here before they bring him back out. Nick Wheeler has the wheels. Their quarterback for Gladwin, just under 1,000 yards through the air, just under 900 yards on the ground. Back judge just threw a flag, delay of game indicating.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, till first down.
And Dan, Frankenmuth is really stacking the box here. They're in man-to-man coverage. They have no help over top. They're expecting run. That's putting a lot of pressure on the corners and safeties there to play man-to-man. Something we want to watch throughout the game.
Esline in motion. Little reverse. Now a quick toss. Back to the quarterback, Nick Wheeler, and he could have gone. Lucas Meade on the reverse, a little flea flicker. They had the quarterback, Nick Wheeler, and he could have gone down that right sideline.
Yeah, you see the two offenses really feeling out the defenses. They're trying to loosen them up a little bit. I guarantee both defensive coordinators expected a lot of heavy run based on the stats of the season. I like the play calls. Keep them loose and keep them on their heels.
2nd and 15 from their own 24-yard line. Esline in the backfield with Wheeler. Quick toss right side. They'll get some of that yardage back after the penalty. Caden McDonald on the reception. We'll get it across the 30-yard line. Call it a gain of 7, setting up 3rd and 8.
And right now, if you have this man-to-man coverage and everybody inside, it's not a bad idea to try to get your quarterback out of the pocket, give him some running lanes because there's nobody there. If you're in man-to-man as a defensive back, you're going to have to turn your back and run with the route. Gives the extra man there, the quarterback, an opportunity to run.
3 split wide left for Gladwin on 3rd and 8. Favorite target, number 4, split wide to the left side. That's Lucas Meade. Quick toss left side, across the 30, but shy of the first down is Earl Esline. Boy, when he touches the ball, something usually good happens for Gladwin. That's a good job by Frankenmuth to bring up 4th down, 4th and 3.
Yeah, just a little stop pass there. We just consider that a long handoff, and they're going to do a lot of that to keep them honest, meaning Frankenmuth's defense.
Neither coach right now inclined to go for it on 4th down. We actually saw quite a bit of that in game yesterday, featuring the Gawney and Grand Rapids West Catholic. This one will be punted away by Lucas Meade. Good punt, nice hang time and a little bit of contact, but no flag. Nice punt, and Frankenmuth will take over on the 31. Gladwin tried a little trickery and oh so close to perhaps a really big gain for Nick Wheeler. Defense is dominating early here at Ford Field. This is one of our favorite things about this weekend is the send-off you see from the small towns especially. I mean, look at those people out there sending their Frankenmuth Eagles off to Ford Field this morning. Head coach Phil Martin said, you know, 2 years ago, that was the COVID season. Not many fans could go, but he said the send-off was unbelievable. He said it felt like it went on for miles and miles. Only 125 fans allowed. We're looking below us at a sea of red, and I believe him when he says the whole town has turned out. A town that was settled in the 1850s. The name translates to Courage of the Franconians in German. Population about 5,000. School has about 500 students. Town gets 3 million tourists every year. And I'll bet anybody watching has been there at least once.
I'll be there next week.
And by the way, 2 million chicken dinners served every year. Run left side and not a whole lot there. Gage Singano on that defensive line. Make a dominant coach, the nose tackle. His head coach, Mark Jarstfer, couldn't say enough good things about that young man. He's a load, 6'2", 280, and I mean that in the best sense because he just ties up blockers. Yeah. He ties up the middle and also makes plays. And when you're running a 3-4 defense, that guy is one of the most important players on your team. Defense has only been giving up 9 points a game. Barger in motion. Barker on the carry, tripped up as he crossed the 35, setting up 3rd and short from just shy of the 40. Logan Kokotovich into the tackle for Gladwin.
Everything in this offense is to set something else up. So you're going to see a lot of dive and buck trap to keep that interior defense of Gladwin honest. But it is to set up the off tackle, it's to set up the option, and it's to set up the play action. So you're going to see them continue to do, oh, that's not working. There's a famous saying in that Bear double wing, it's 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And that's what you're going to see a lot of this game.
And Phil Martin says we can play that. And when we need to open it up, we can open it up as well. Like you said, every play is designed to set something else up. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, and again for the second time, maybe a little communication problem, but Frankenmuth, Phil Martin, their head coach, calls time before this 3rd and short. Well, the teams, players, coaches, they work hard all week getting ready for the game, and so do the officials. Local officials meetings across the state every week help the men and women calling the action stay on top of their game. Let's give them the respect they deserve, and better yet, why not become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. They're always looking for good people, because without officials, it's just practice.
Dan, we got a big 3rd down here. You know, looking for something out of this offense that's going to get you a big chunk play or get you the 1st down. I'm looking for a counter pull. You can bring that from the wing back, or looking for some type of tight end dump, or you just go back to the buck trap because they've gotten 3 to 4 yards every time they've ran it.
One of the things that's been impressive about Aiden Horde, again running this offense for the first time as a senior, for the year, 59 completions to 13 different receivers. And 10 of those have been for touchdowns, 10 different receivers. So you talk about being able to spread the ball around and give the defense a lot to think about.
Yes.
Hayden looking left side and has his man. Aiden Horde has his man over on the left side. Hunter Bernthal, gain of 12 and a 1st down. Big 1st down for Frankenmuth.
Yeah, go ahead and freeze there. Okay, let's run this. You're going to watch him. He has to get accounted for at some point. Nobody goes with them. They're in a zone. They're sitting in a soft zone at that with a cover 3, and they find him right in the soft spot. Good job of Aiden Horde recognizing that, getting the ball out.
Aiden Horde throws a nice ball. We've seen it early. Good strong arm, nice touch. Quick toss, right side, Barger, and it looked like he had some running room. It's going to be a nice pickup on 1st down, about 6 yards. Barger averaged 8 yards a carry this year. And once in a while, he'll get the ball out of the backfield as well on a pass.
And Dan, you cannot run this offense unless you have tremendous fakes, and that's exactly what you see, not only by the fullback, but by the quarterback selling it and then getting the ball out quick for a big 1st down gain.
6 yards on 1st down. Scoreless counting down to the last minute of the first quarter of this Division V state championship game. Aiden Horde, the senior, calling the signals out of the shotgun. Barger again in motion. The whistle blew. Thought I heard a whistle before the play. Did not. Hunter Bernthal on the carry. Not much there for him, setting up 3rd and short. Bernthal is the other back who's gotten some carries this year. Just over 340 yards coming into this game for him.
And Logan Kokotovich, he just came down and filled like a man. You could have closed your eyes and hear this kid play the majority of the season. You don't have to see him. He absolutely brought the wood.
3rd and 3. Boy, this crowd is loud on both sides. The keeper, and Aiden Horde had nowhere to go. Jace Massey leading a massive tacklers in there. Also Isaac Hale.
Yeah, just a really good job of everybody playing their gap and the linebackers cleaning up. You see the defensive end there, number 85, Isaac Hale, 33 tackles on the season, and he just does his job. He works half the man, keeps the outside arm free, and stops the quarterback from getting around on the keep. Again, a setup play, Dan. They wanted to work that buck trap, that dive, even showed you the option. That time they're going to try to keep with the quarterback, and it was stuffed.
That's going to be the end of the first quarter. We knew something had to give today. Both teams terrific defenses, terrific offenses. So far, first quarter dominated by terrific play from the defenses. We are scoreless after 12 minutes of play in the Division V state championship game. Both these teams, Frankenmuth and Gladwin, looking for their first ever title. This was the scene earlier today in Gladwin, the send-off for the Flying G's. Everybody lining the streets. There's just nothing like it. If you're a player on the team, you get that send-off, and I mean, that just gives you chills looking at it. You can see how much they enjoyed it from the interior of the bus. Gladwin, a town of just about 3,000, located on the Cedar River, originally named Cedar until somebody discovered that, you know what, that name was already taken. So they decided the town would be named after the county that it is in. Gladwin, they're called the Flying G's. Students have unofficially called them the Ghost Hawks, which is a large and aggressive hawk in the raptor family, which I did not know until earlier today. But you look at the shot of the crowd. I mean, this is a town of 3,000, and it looks like everybody's here for Gladwin. Frankenmuth, a town of 5,000. They look like their whole town is here. Fourth down, going for it deep and overthrown. Frankenmuth goes for it on 4th and 5. Colin Main was the intended receiver. The ball overthrown by Aiden Horde. Didn't really have much downfield. And now good field position for Gladwin. As we take a look at that Frankenmuth crowd. Boy, it's a sea of red on one side and a sea of blue on the other. So the Flying G's, great nickname, take over Gladwin on their own 45-yard line, their best starting spot of the day.
This is always a good time to take a big shot right off a turnover, which that's what it was. They went for it on 4th. Aiden Horde wished he had that ball back, had the guy open down the left side of the field.
Flag flies, give up the middle. Earl Esline, nobody's gonna catch him. Touchdown Gladwin. 55 yards. Flag right at the line. Let's see what it's about.
Illegal formation.
Oh.
5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Previous spot. First down.
That's too bad after that electrifying run. That'll be 1st and 15. Wipes out the 55-yard run.
Yeah, you have to get the proper amount. Guy at the top here should be lined up on the line. I'm going to circle him here. Go ahead and run it. And unfortunately, they were going to take some type of big shot. They did it on the ground, and it went for a home run, and it's called back.
Earl Esline really is going to be someone to keep an eye on. We just saw it, but he was averaging 13 yards a carry coming into this game. He's already over 1,000 yards this year. And we just saw that blazing speed as he took off for the 55-yard run. He gets the carry here, a little tougher go up the middle this time for Earl Esline. He's a senior.
Well, yeah, Gladwin's, you know, my Sasante sauce, the best Italian sauce you can have from my grandma. Create big plays. You just had one. You have to, with your offense, spread it out to create some big plays on the ground and in the air, and stay disciplined against that Frankenmuth defense. They're going to challenge you and try to rock you to sleep. Do your job, stay home, and be disciplined.
Wheeler in the shotgun. Give his right side, and whoa, there is nothing there for Braden Ritchie. Smothered for a loss of 1. Frankenmuth in the backfield. as the ball was handed off.
Yeah, you see right here, Frankenmuth's defense just does a really good job of staying home. And you see there from number 37, just plays down the line, follows the pulling lineman, and makes a big play in the backfield. You got a big 3rd and 12 here, Dan. You're getting man-to-man straight across. So again, I think you roll out the quarterback or you try to put some pressure.
Looking left side, deep, has a man, caught! Inside the 30 by Lucas Mead. His favorite target, and a big, big 3rd down conversion.
Yeah, if you want to stack the box, you're going to put a lot of pressure on the back end of your defense, your secondary, and you're going to have a lot of one-on-one matchups, and eventually your dudes are going to beat their dudes. And then we just had it happen for a big play from Gladwin and number 4, wide receiver, Lucas Mead.
Gain of 32. Gladwin is on the move. Wheeler, quick toss, right side. Can he get a block? Little wide receiver screen. Nice job. Gets it across the 20-yard line. A pickup of 6 on 1st down. Calvin Main on the stop. Lucas Mead, the target for the 2nd straight pass.
Yeah, very high percentage throw, a stop, bubble pass, whatever you want to call it, and the defense is flowing inside out. Dalton DeBow is usually a tackle that he's going to make, misses the tackle, and they get a big chunk play on 1st down.
Mead is to the near side. Caden McDonald is split out wide. That's at the top of your screen, number 2. Esline's in the backfield along with Braden Ritchie. Wheeler calling the signals, hands it off. Ritchie running left side, and there is very little running room there. Dalton DeBow leads Frankenmuth with 80 tackles coming in. Also leads the team in tackle for losses. Dalton DeBow, who Justin highlighted in the open, made the tackle. That sets up 3rd and 4 from just inside the 20. We're scoreless. 3 minutes into quarter number 2 of the Division 5 state championship game. McDonald wide left, Lucas Mead to the near side at the bottom of your screen, number 4. Give is up the middle to Braden Ritchie, and he keeps the legs going, but he is going to be a yard shy of the 1st down. And you would certainly expect they will go for it right here. Gladwin does have a good field goal kicker, Traden Siegert. They'll be going for it on 4th and 1 here, a scoreless game. Nick Wheeler brings the play in from the sideline.
Yeah, and I think you just go back right to that power pull or a quarterback sneak. Don't make it too difficult. You cheat the fullback up a little bit, give a dive, let your big boys work up front. We highlighted them earlier, Dan, and those are the guys that do the work for you.
Out of the shotgun, Wheeler, keeper, right side. Can he get to the 1st down marker? No, he will not. Frankenmuth's defense rises up. Riley Hubbard out there to make the stop. It looked like for a moment he'd get to the edge and the 1st down marker, but the Eagles defense from Frankenmuth rises up.
Yeah, Brendan Marker and Carter Weiss, their defensive ends, been doing a really good job of containing that edge. But number 11 there, Riley Hubbard, he has 36 tackles as a corner, so he's used to playing in the box coming downhill. I think that Gladwin just outdid themselves a little bit, overcoached that scenario. I think staying inside between those big tackles would have been a better bet. Big turnover on downs.
Big turnover. Frankenmuth takes over at their own 18. Keeper, flip, right side, but, oh man, running is tough for Sam Barger. Barger averaged 8 yards a carry. Head coach Phil Martin describes his combination of Barker and Barger. Barker is the Thunder. He said he likes to run people over, but he's learned that he can make a cut before he runs somebody over. Barker is number 27. And Barger, if Barker is the Thunder, Barger is the Lightning. And he's someone that can break a big run for Frankenmuth, number 17. It's Barker in the background, in the backfield. He'll get the carry, and Both of these defense making it awfully tough to get anything going. Defensive end Lincoln McKinnon, number 54 on your screen, making the stop there on this 3-4 defense. Those 3 down guys are big, and they've all been playing well so far. Isaac Hale, Dominic Coates, Lincoln McKinnon, all seniors.
I'm really impressed, Dan, by the discipline of both defenses. You really have to stay home against these schemes, and they're doing exactly that.
3rd and 7. Give is left side, and again, the Flying G's of Gladwin are swarming. Braden Ritchie leading the way that time. Almost no gain on the play. The carry was for Griffin Barker.
Yeah, you see Braden Ritchie here just getting downhill. Logan Kokovic again. Oh, it's always in the mix. He just slices and dices behind those big front there. And it's great to have big defensive line because they're going to really create a lot of gaps and clear windows to run through as a linebacker, and you've seen it right there.
Travis Brenner is the punter. He averages almost 35 yards a punt. Nice punt here. And that will be caught by Caden McDonald at his own 37-yard line, and that's where Gladwin will start. Still looking for our first score of the day. Division V state championship game. The high school football season comes to an end tomorrow afternoon in Brighton. It's the 5th annual Legacy Senior All-Star Game, hosted once again at the beautiful Legacy Center Sports Complex. The event will feature 80 of the best graduating seniors from across the state. They get the chance to strap on their helmets for one final time and showcase their skills for a statewide audience. Our coverage begins at noon on Valley Sports Detroit and the Valley Sports app. My partner today knows a little bit about that game, but really, you started this a few years ago, and it's been very good for those seniors.
Yeah, and especially guys that are underrated, maybe not as much exposure. They're not 5 stars, but they're great football players, had great careers, and really deserve to get on one last platform in front of their community in the state of Michigan.
Gladwin goes on offense, and I think quarterback Nick Wheeler wanted to pitch it, and he ended a quick toss. But he was under heavy pressure as he got rid of that ball, trying to get it to Earl Esline. Again, that's the explosive back and receiver for Gladwin. They want to get the ball to him in space.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and I think they had him. He did not want to throw that ball. I think he wanted to pitch it. Frankenmuth did not cover that pitch man, but they got home quick enough to stop the football play.
Wheeler trying to solve a Frankenmuth defense that for 10 straight weeks hasn't given up more than a single score. 5 shutouts in that time. In motion is Meade. He'll get the ball running right side, or Wheeler will keep it, make it, and they're just not having much success inside or outside. Colin Main, second on the team in tackles for Frankenmuth, makes the stop.
Yeah, Dane Reif really does a good job at linebacker. Go ahead and run it, and you're going to see him. They're going to try to outflank him with that fake jet outside, but he stays disciplined inside out on the quarterback, makes a big tackle. That could have ended up being a big play. 3rd down here. I think you try to push it vertical. You had some success on the outside last time.
Wheeler's going to roll left, throw back, and against his momentum and way behind his intended receiver, Lucas Meade. That was not an easy throw for Wheeler to make.
A really good pressure from the front there of Frankenmuth's defense. They did have a guy come open late, but he just had too much in his face, could not set his feet and throw, and that's going to take the accuracy off a quarterback.
Really impressive work by both defenses so far. Under 5 minutes to go in quarter number 2. Both teams have had a hard time simply making a first down. Kick is by Trayton Siegert, the punt, and that's going to get a nice bounce inside the 20-yard line. Got an extra 10 on the bounce. Frankenmuth will take over when we come back, still trying to get that ball. Neither team able to run the ball like they want to. Now a message from your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Special presentation of the MHSAA Football Finals on Valley Sports Detroit is presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Well, a couple of years ago, Frankenmuth was here. This was their first ever shot at a state championship game. The linebacker that we highlighted, Dane Wright, his brother Davin was the quarterback on that team. Frankenmuth losing in the finals in that odd COVID season. And so mom and dad were at that game for the Wright family. Today they had quite the dilemma because Davin has gone on to play college football at Division III Alma, and they had a game today at noon. And I'm pretty sure it was in Illinois. They couldn't make both. So they had to make the choice. They are here, we understand, to watch Dane Wright, now a senior, number 34 there on your screen, play in this championship game. And we've got a good one. It's kind of fun to see two defenses of this caliber really shutting down two high-powered offenses and play superbly so far.
Yeah, I mean, and from the perspective of the viewer, they might say, oh, what a boring game, it's 0-0. But as a defensive guy, this is a supreme game. Those two defensive coordinators are so well prepped, and their defenses are really playing discipline and forcing the offenses to really get outside of their norm.
At the 19, quick toss right side, fumble, ball's loose, and recovered by Gladwin. It was the nose tackle, Dominic Coates, who came over and fell on it. Sam Barger on the carry, couldn't hold the pitch.
Let's talk a little bit about the VAR option. You know, first of all, you're going to have somebody that you have to take away from the dive, and then you're going to have this option go and run it, and you're going to see this. Everybody's going to have somebody to take. They don't run the dive, they run the lead option there around the corner, and we knew with the way the defenses were playing, it's going to come down to special teams and a turnover, and Gladwin gets the big turnover here right before the second half.
It was Logan Kokatovich who knocked Barger away from the ball after he dropped it, and again that allowed Dominic Coates, what a year he's had, we talked about him earlier, to pounce on that ball as it fell loose. And now the biggest scoring opportunity of the day. Big smile on the face of that young man. He's had a heck of a game so far. Time called before this first down play.
Correction.
And there's going to be a review on this play with the new rules here for the state finals.
We were confused for a moment. The official was pointing first down the other way for Frankenmuth, but no, this is first down for Gladwin.
Yeah, I was about to say, I
thought, wait, what I miss on this fumble here?
I don't understand what the confusion was. I didn't know, maybe they didn't know if his knee was down, but yeah, that's a clear fumble and clear recovery by Gladwin.
Yep. How about the hustle by the big guy, Dominic Coates, the nose tackle. So first down, fake to Esline, keeper Wheeler, and keeps the legs driving. The senior quarterback gets it across the 15, a few tough yards. Carter Weiss. Take a look at the plays that are eligible for review, and some replays been expanded a little bit as the years have gone along. Scoring plays, potential scoring plays, turnovers, and potential turnovers, all reviewable. These are automatic, especially late in games. That was, as Justin said, a very clear fumble. Esline in motion, gets the fake. Wheeler will keep it. And again, kind of grinding it out in the middle, just a couple of yards. Dalton DeBow, Colin Main, two of the leading tacklers. It's the linebackers, it's the ends who are the big guys for that Eagles defense. These are some of the things that coaches can challenge, and it's very specific. Each coach is entitled to one challenge during regulation. You have to have a timeout to initiate that challenge. If it's successful, you get to keep your timeout, and you have to challenge before the start of the next play. Wheeler on a keeper up the middle. Stiff arm, dragged down, well shy of the first down. That's a fine play by Dalton DeBow. overcoming the stiff arm by Nick Wheeler on the design quarterback keeper.
Yeah, really good job by DeBoe. This is a design QB keep, just as you said, Dan. He's trying to do quarterback draw right up the middle. You have all that man-to-man defense. You have nobody that's going to cover once you get past that second level as a running back, and that's what they planned on. Really good play, though, there by DeBoe, who we featured earlier in the game.
So, Trayton Siegert will try the field goal, but very quickly you saw Mark Jarstfer, the head coach for Gladwin, racing down the sideline saying, wait a minute, I want a timeout here. Trayton Siegert, 3 of 4 on field goal attempts this year. This is just basically 6 yards longer than an extra point. Well, and now a message from Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
For over 50 years, your family has trusted Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call Family Heating and Cooling now for all of your family's heating and cooling needs.
Visit FamilyHeating.com today.
What do you think it was that Mark Jarstfer didn't like there, but he had to call the timeout before they attempted the field goal?
Well, I think that, first of all, he's probably second-guessing himself a little bit. It's 4th and short. Nobody's offense is being really explosive right now. Even if they get the ball back, your defense is playing really well. Or you just want to make sure that everybody's got their nerves nice and calm, compose the kicker, and get the 3 points, which I would take in a game like this. It's a defensive juggernaut, and you want to take points when you can get them.
And they are still going to try the field goal. Trace Corlew, the third, is the holder. The kicker is Trayton Siegert. Again, 3 for 4, and this is just a little bit longer than an extra point. He was very good. Well, Anna Seaback actually gets the extra point attempts. They fake it. Siegert's going to keep. He's going to throw to the end zone and knocked away. Lucas Meade, the intended receiver, and the Eagles were ready. Jake Vanderhaar in on the coverage, along with Carson Knoll.
Well, we know why they called the timeout. They were making sure their fake was set up. Pretty creative fake there. It's going right to the kicker. Not a bad throw, but he's in double coverage, and obviously did not work out. Might be second guess later in the game, depending on what the score ends up, as taking the points and the easy 3 points there in the state finals.
Will Soulier in on the coverage for the Eagles. Terrific play defensively. So like you said, he had second thoughts about the field goal, decided to try a little trickery. Did not work, and we're still scoreless with just over 2 minutes to go. On the keeper, Aiden Horde up the middle. Look at that offensive line, and Horde keeps the legs driving. Again, he can run the ball. He averages 5 yards a carry.
Dan, you see the same play ran by Gladwin and Frankenmuth. You have to honor that dive by the fullback, but he's becoming a lead blocker. You just don't know if he's getting the ball or if the quarterback's going to be coming up the rear to foul him through the hole, and that's what's happened. Is starting to open up some holes there for Frankenmuth.
That was a gain of 9. Looked like he was going to get about 3 or 4, and then that pile just kept moving. In motion is Bernthal. The give is up the middle, and there is nothing going on 2nd and 1. There's Dominic Coates again, calling his name a lot, but again, he caves in the interior of that line, play after play after play.
Good job there by linebacker Braden Ritchie as well, and Logan Kokovic. We're going to call their names a whole lot. Those are free-flowing linebackers. They really read the ball really well, the plays. They know their key, stance alignment, key responsibility, but getting downhill very aggressively all game.
Eagles of Frankenmuth, 1 for 5 on 3rd downs. This is 3rd and 1, and movement on the left side of the line for Frankenmuth. Looked like the left tackle, Derek Simmons.
Prior to the snap, false start, 74, 5-yard penalty.
And Dan, you're seeing that false start because they're pulling 2 of those big boys. They're getting them out. You're seeing a double counter pull, and they're sitting back a little bit. Gladwin wants to see that. It's a little bit of a key when you get the counter double pull. You're going to see here, they're sitting back just a little bit. He's a little anxious on the other side, but they're going to get that counter double pull around the end and unfortunately get a false start to put them in 3rd and long.
Riley Hubbard brings the play in from the sidelines. Now 3rd and 6 for Frankenmuth. The clock counting down to 45 seconds left here in the first half. Frankenmuth with just one timeout left. They will throw. Quick toss, right side, and will it be a completion? No. What fine defense from Gladwin. That's Braden Ritchie knocking the ball out of the hands of the intended receiver, Barger, who had it for a moment until it was knocked free.
Yeah, and I really think Aiden Horde wanted to go downfield, but the coverage was just tremendous there by the back end of the Gladwin defense. It goes to his outlet and just can't make the catch and get upfield.
Gladwin calls timeout. They have one left, and they've got a chance with 30 seconds to go to have very good field position after this punt from Frankenmuth. Again, their punter is a terrific punter. Travis Brenner has boomed a couple of punts in this game today.
You'd love to see them try to punt block this as well. Great scenario for it.
Well, coming up at halftime, we'll have a conversation with the MHSAA Executive Director, Mark Ewell. We'll preview the upcoming Division III state championship game. You're not going to want to miss that one. Detroit, Martin Luther King, and Muskegon. Talk about two football powers. Justin and I will break down the first half and talk about what you have liked specifically about how well these defenses have played.
If I'm Gladwin, I'm trying to bring some pressure here. I'm trying to force a mistake. Bad snap or enough pressure that they have to hold up and you can get your return man out.
Another good punt from Brenner. At midfield, Caden McDonald with a fair catch. 23 seconds to go, a 37-yard punt. But that's a big 37 yards to get it out of the shadow of your own end zone and get it out to midfield. 23 seconds and one timeout for Gladwin. To get into field goal position, they would probably have to get it down to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, and you want to be careful if you're Gladwin. You don't want to force anything because you don't want a big turnover, especially turnover for score. But start looking to work some of the middle of the field. You really have a vacancy there with both defenses playing a zero coverage, meaning man-to-man across. You have a safety on the wide side here, but none on the boundary side. Look for him to attack.
Quick toss to Meade, and he's going to be smothered right at the line. No gain. The Eagles were all over it. Will Soulier on the tackle. Will they use that last timeout? They will. They were trying to do something more here, weren't they?
Yeah, really just trying to get it out quick, but I think the pitch was coming from the outside if I had to guess.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah, a little hook and ladder we call it, right? And you see him coming out here just a little bit late and maybe try to get that. Good job by that young man Meade holding on to it, understanding there's a lot to lose if you push that ball and turn it over.
Still looking for Earl Esline, who had that 55-yard touchdown run called back. Again, he's their big play guy. When he touches the ball, good things happen. They've not been able to get him that ball in space, not able to get him free to show off those skills that have averaged, again, 13 yards a carry this year, over 1,000 yards on the ground.
Well, some of the characteristics of great defense are this: be disciplined, run to the football, and be great tacklers, and we've seen it on both sides.
Second down, no gain on first down. One timeout left.
Great time for a flea flicker, something of that nature, something you can just make them bite up a little bit and try to get some separation with your receivers.
Meade is to the near side, number 4 at the bottom of your screen. Esline is to the right. Wheeler rolling, he's going to throw the ball away, and almost got picked off. Travis Brenner was over there. It was Brendan Marker who was applying the pressure.
Yeah, really good job. You get this boot, and you have to have your defensive ends contained, and that's exactly what happens. Not only contains, get off the block, and forces them to make a bad throw, almost a devastating throw, because it was almost intercepted.
Well, you've got time, if you can get the ball downfield and out of bounds, to take 2 shots at it. But boy, it's been a tough go for both of these offenses trying to get anything downfield. Deep down the left sideline for Caden McDonald, and almost picked off. McDonald, the intended receiver. It was Carson Knoll on the coverage, and he had his hands on it. 5 seconds to go. You feel like right here after 2 near picks, maybe just run the clock to get to halftime.
Yeah, your defense has played so tremendous. You'd hate to give up some easy, cheap points at the end. You see here, he's just really forcing into double coverage. They know he's going to pass the ball. They got a guy back. That number 10 there is back deep. He's going to make sure that nobody gets deeper than the deepest man, gets his hands on it. And very, very, very close. If he picks that he has a lot of green and a lot of running room.
4th down, 5 seconds to go in the first half of a scoreless game. Wheeler again deep, and again the first man to touch it is the defender for Frankenmuth, and again it's Carson Knoll, and that brings an end to the first half. Defenses dominate, but there's a lot to appreciate about what these defenses have done, because these are 2 high-powered offenses that we are watching here today. You wouldn't know it, but credit to these 2 defenses from Gladwin and Frankenmuth for what we have seen so far in the first half. Gladwin averaged 46 points a game coming into this game. Frankenmuth averaged 41 points a game coming into this Division V state championship game. Well, it's time for the Menards big money moment. We're going to take you to the fake field goal. The direct snap to the kicker, Siegert. He was looking for Meade in the end zone, and again, the Eagles were not fooled. Frankenmuth was all over it.
And when you get that timeout called, you know something's up, and I think Frankenmuth's defense obviously is very well coached. Their entire team, both sides, and they were prepared and ready to make a big play.
Gladwin's head coach, Mark Jarstfer, is joining us on the headset down on the field. Coach, this is Dan Dickerson. We were just showing the attempted fake field goal. Walk us through that, because they originally lined up and then you called timeout.
Yeah, I mean, on the original timeout, it was just because time was running short. We had 1 or 2 seconds left on the play clock, and I didn't think we'd get it off. The fake is something that we had practiced throughout the week, but we probably should have used another timeout there. They did a good job recognizing it and pointing out Lucas Meade, who had switched from right side to left side over the course of the year.
Coach, you guys are doing a tremendous job on defense, as Frankenmuth is. Does this make you go into second half to make any adjustments offensively, schematic-wise, or do you stick with what got you here?
I think we stick with what got us here. I mean, obviously they're a tremendous defensive team, and we had a few bonehead plays early on, like our receiver not being on the line of scrimmage and giving us enough eligible and getting that touchdown run back. And so just little things like that. We've had a lot of miscommunications with the sound and that kind of stuff. So I think those are just some of the things that go with being a first-time team down here.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Coach Mark Jarstfer of Gladwin. We are scoreless. You don't see this very often, but these defenses were really impressive in the first half. There are a lot of explosive players on both sides of the ball. Gladwin had some opportunities. They had the ball deep twice, and both times the Frankenmuth defense rose up. We go to halftime in the Division V state championship game, scoreless from Ford Field. This was the scene earlier today in the Division I state championship game. Belleville, the winner over Caledonia, with an impressive second half. They were down 17-14 in that game, and they went on to the 35-17 win. We're at the halftime of the Division V state championship game, and we are scoreless. Gladwin and Frankenmuth showing off some pretty good defense. Pleased to be joined at halftime by Mark Ewell, the executive director of the MHSAA. Good to have you here, Mark. This has been a fun weekend, I know, always for you. Let's start today just talking about that Belleville situation, because their head coach, Jermaine Crowell, has now been let go, but it was suspended by the MHSAA. Tell us about that situation, Belleville winning with an interim head coach today.
I think the most important thing, and I've seen Belleville every snap of their game last week and this week, and I think the #1 lead story is the way that their kids reacted. What their young people have done both last week and this week, their entire coaching staff were so professional to work with our staff today. That was really, really good to see. So, really keep the attention on the kids, and that's been great. I will say this, so whenever the way it works is that schools join the MHSAA each summer. And when schools join, they agree to follow the rules. And to use a baseball analogy, as you watch 162 games, when somebody runs out of the baseline, the umpire has to call them out. And when schools join us each summer and they agree to follow the rules, and when any of our rules, such as undue influence is just one example, when schools don't follow it, there's very clear penalties, and sometimes we have to kind of play the role of that umpire when those things happen.
So undue influence in this case was attracting kids to the program using improper means, basically.
Correct, and certainly, in the day of school of choice and with our private schools not having geographic boundaries, you know, there's a lot of competition for students. But the key is that you can't use athletics as the driving force in that. And again, that's one of the rules that our schools agree to follow every summer when they join, and sometimes you've got to deal with those.
Talk about some of the good things, especially post-COVID, about participation, student athletes in high school. Certainly has grown. Has it gotten back to pre-COVID levels? But we're seeing certainly attendance coming back, more and more kids participating in all kinds of sports year-round. It's been a very encouraging trend these last 2 years.
It really has, Dan, and things feel as normal and as good today as they really were before COVID. You look at what our crowds have been this weekend. We'll have as good of attendance this weekend as we have in 10 years. You look at participation numbers this fall in football, those are up, as well as all of our sports across the board. You can tell that people are ready to be back to normal, and this weekend's been a great example of that.
You've been a long-time official, right?
I have been, yes.
And I know it's the constant, I don't know if it's a struggle, but the constant goal is to find good officials and attract people to it. How is that going? And do you find once you get people attracted to the idea of becoming an official, they really end up liking it a lot?
They do. You know, I've got 2 college-age kids, and you often say if you can get them through the first semester of the freshman year, they're going to make it. Officials, same way. If we get a brand new official and we can get them through the first 3 years, kind of get their feet on the ground, get them connected, kind of build that camaraderie, we usually give them a 10-year award, a 20-year award. So recruiting officials never ends. In this kind of post-COVID world where folks maybe aren't quite as civil as they used to. Respect and decency goes an awful long way, and if we just continue to work at that culture, I think we'll continue to grow the officiating ranks.
And I think that's so important, because I think a lot of officials started, you know, it's not worth it to take all this abuse. To that end, you've held sportsmanship summits, and you started to hold those again throughout the course of the year during the summer months. Tell us about those and why they are so important. What do you accomplish at those summits?
So we had 4 summits this fall all over the state. We had just under 1,000 kids attend, which was fantastic. And really what that is you're almost training the next generation of athletic parents. If you can get kids while they're still in high school, you can talk about sportsmanship and respect and how to treat officials and how to treat coaches. You fast forward 15 years and maybe some of those messages stick a little bit, and that'll again just bring a little bit more sanity back to a world that sometimes needs it.
Hey, it never hurts to repeat the message of good sportsmanship and just remind parents that, hey, it's about the kids, and these officials are doing the best job they can possibly do.
Absolutely, and without officials, it's just recess, and there is help wanted. Just whistle. Go to MHSAA.com, click on officials. We'd love to have you join the team.
Mark Ewell of the MHSAA, thank you so much.
Thanks, Dan.
We're going to be back. We've got the second half kickoff in the Division 5 state championship game. We're going to be talking about this play, the one big play of the first half that got called back, and celebrate the good defenses we're seeing with Justin Sasante when we come back here from Ford Field. This special presentation of the MHSAA Football Finals on Valley Sports Detroit is brought to you by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first. By Elite Prep Academy, a postgraduate high school program for football and basketball students and student athletes. And by Glassman Automotive. Got it at Glassman. Seen from Frankenmuth earlier today. We are joined now by the head coach of the Frankenmuth Eagles, Phil Martin. Coach Dan Dickerson, what a show defensively in the first half. Kind of what we thought with these 2 powerful defenses. What did you like about what you saw from your defense in the first half?
You know, we played well in the box. You know, again, they had 2 opportunities to punch the ball in. You know, our defense rose to the occasion. And, you know, I thought keeping us in the football game right now, we got to do something on the offensive side of football to get ourselves in rhythm again.
How you doing, Coach? Justin Sassante, phenomenal showing on defense, both sides of the both teams. Any adjustments that you're going to make offensively? I know the very well double wing and all the different varieties of plays you can run on it. Anything that you guys are making adjustment-wise to attack Gladwin?
Hey, right now we got to fix timing. You know, as you know, that's everything with the veer. You know, timing. Right now we're a little late on a couple things, and we got to get the backers. You know, we got to do a good job. You know, all the credit to their backers, but you know, we got to do a good job of getting the backers.
All right, Coach, thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks, Dan.
Phil Martin, head coach at Frankenmuth. What a program he has built. 36-2 the last 3 years. Halftime highlights are brought to you by Wallside Windows, and our highlights are about defense, Justin.
Yeah, and Gladwin just did a very good job. Right off the rip, Frankenmuth is trying to challenge them, loosening them up through the pass game. Did a great job of staying home. And then both defenses just did a tremendous job of running to the football, tackling well, and then you even seen some turnovers created. Now they have to find points off the turnovers, and they need to get their offenses going. Both offenses very potent, averaging over 40 points a game, held to 0, even pulling out all the tricks out of the bag, and that's what you do in the state finals. You leave it all out on the field. It's going to remember this moment the rest of your life.
Well, these numbers will tell you what we were watching in the first half, and again, appreciating this defense. The defensive performance on both sides of the ball. 127 yards total. Each team with just over 60 yards. You don't see that very often. These are two powerful offenses. Credit to what we have watched these young men on both sides of the ball defensively in this first half. Who is going to score first? Somebody has to score first. We are scoreless at halftime. The final 24 minutes coming up when we come back.
Ball game 0-0. Okay, you have them exactly where you want them at to give yourself an opportunity to win this football game and to be state champions. But it's not going to be easy, as you can see in the first half, right? It's not going to be easy, right? So defense has got to keep doing their job, because if we keep them shut down, okay, they can't win if they score 0, right? They can't win if they score 0. So we cannot be comfortable. We cannot feel relaxed on defense. You have to do your job, read your P's, and fly to the football. You guys are playing a great brand of football right now. You're playing fast, you're playing physical, you're getting the ball when it's on the ground, okay? You're hitting them hard. They're not expecting that, right? But they've been here before, okay? They've been here before. They know what it's like to lose. So they're not just going to give up for you. So in the second half, we've got to start fast, and we have to start strong. Offensive line-wise, right? Since we're here with the offensive line, you guys have got to stick with your blocks, okay? There's a couple times on power where they slant down, and we just give them a shove. They're too strong to give them a shove. You've got to step with them the whole way, otherwise they're going to make the play, okay? And we have to make sure that we're sticking with it and we're communicating, right? Too tough to do.
Oh, he's had him fired up before the game, and assistant coach Cody Emiot also has them fired up for the second half. Made a very true statement there. If they don't score, we can't lose.
Yeah, and in the 5-2, you're going to get a lot of slant and angle from those DNs, and something he really mentioned and highlighted was you cannot just give a shove. You have to ride that block out so that the next guy can get to the second level.
We'll be talking about that, because that's exactly what Phil Martin was talking about as well, getting his blockers to that second level to make sure you're getting on the linebackers, and so far Gladwin's defensive line has not allowed that. Gladwin will get the ball to start the second half. Soulier with the kickoff. Kind of a line drive that will be fielded at the 5-yard line. Across the 15. Oh, big hit as S-Line tried to find a little space, and he got crushed. Colin Maine is the one who delivered and lowered the boom.
Yeah, and a game like this is going to be determined on special teams and turnovers, especially 0-0 at the half. And you see these guys are really turning up their energy. They understand what's on the line. It's 24 minutes for a lifetime right now.
Boy, Colin Maine just came flying down. That's not an easy guy to take down. And we're still going to keep an eye, just because he's their most explosive offensive player on number 33, Earl S-Line on the return. S-Line will get it, running left, trying to follow his blockers, but man, oh man, that Frankenmuth defense is swarming. Colin Maine again leading a host of tacklers in a loss of 3.
Yeah, you see 40 Gray right here doing a really good job. He's making plays all over the field, and the defensive ends for Frankenmuth has really shut down the edge, and you're getting penetration from the D tackles. You're just not allowing those linemen, like we just heard from the coach at the halftime, get it to the second level.
Jake Vanderhaar in on the stop as well with Maine. Maine has 6 tackles so far today. Up the middle give, a hole closed quickly. Esline on the carry. Reif, Dalton DeBow, those linebackers we highlighted in the open, make the stop after a gain of 5, setting up 3rd and long.
I think in this situation, you want to use your spread in the pass. You want to attack those seams, especially in the middle of the field. You have no help at safety. It's vacant. Those linebackers are going to get really deep to stop anything across the middle.
Gladwin 1 of 7 on 3rd downs. We saw 5 3-and-outs from the two teams combined in the first half. Wheeler rolling right, going deep, and overshot his man. He had Jace Massey, but Massey slowed down, and then the ball went over his head. It's interesting some of the routes they are trying, Justin. They're trying the lower percentage deep routes.
Yeah, and again, I don't understand why, because both defenses are giving you the ability to attack the middle of the field. You don't have safety sitting there, and you have linebackers that are very shallow to take away the run. If I'm either Gladwin or Frankenmuth, I'm going to start doing some crossing routes, get some levels that you can give the quarterback an easy window to look through some options and get that ball out quick.
It's interesting, the alignment for Gladwin. They have 2 guys back. This will be Trayton Siegert, who will punt it. That's actually Lucas Mead across the 50 to the 45. Fighting his way is Barker. Sam Barger, nice return, gets it inside the 45. And now a message from your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers.
Returning AZ Plan lessees can order an F-150 today and lease it for $299 a month for 24 months. Only at your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first.
So, first possession of the second half for Frankenmuth. 2 powerful offenses have been absolutely shut down so far today. Each team with just over 60 yards of offense in the first half. Horde drops the ball and looked like he fell on it. Tried to hand it off. And I think was trying to pull it back when he dropped it. Fell on the ball. It'll be 2nd down, maybe a gain of 1.
Yeah, here, again, they're going to give you that dive first, and they're going to try to pull it out there and just follow up with a QB lead, and he just pulls it out and does not get a good handle on the ball. I think this is a great time for Frankenmuth's offense, a great play to run a counter pull from that wing.
Give left side, and that's some quickness hitting the hole for Sam Barger. Trace Corlo III brought him down after a gain of 6. That'll set up 3rd and 3.
Starting to get some momentum, starting to get Frankenmuth moving a little downhill. You haven't seen them really hit that hard inside. If it's working, go back to it or come back to that wing 43-44 counter pull.
They give left side, 1st down. Barger on the carry, another gain of 6. The chains will move. Trace Corlo and Nick Wheeler in on the stop.
Yeah, you're going to see it. The band is coming right here. Go ahead and run it. You're going to see these guys just simply leading through. Gets a good block there. You want to see him come inside out the lead blocker a little more, but he squares up and doesn't allow that defensive end to get in on the play.
Again, there are 8 two-way starters for Gladwin, and that has to be a factor as we get into the 3rd and 4th quarters of this game. Hard hit just past the 30-yard line. That was Barger again. Isaac Hale on the stop. That front line has played extremely well. Hale, number 85 on your screen. One of the 2 down defensive ends, Hale and McKinnon. Dominic Coates, the nose tackle, number 77.
And Dan, this is what you don't want Frankenmuth to do. You're starting to allow them to get those 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and they're going to get an option of a play action out of there. They're going to try to rock you to sleep.
Aiden Horde, the senior quarterback, calling the signals. The give to Barker, absolutely nothing. Again, clogged up the middle. Braden Ritchie in on the stop.
Yeah, you see here, right, they're getting a lot of success on the left side. They go back towards that right side, and our guy, Logan Koktovic, he's just a great football player. He's flowing both sides from that middle linebacker spot. See if they go back to the left side here or get some type of buck boot to get a wide receiver out.
3rd and 6 from the 26. Whistle blows before the snap. Legal motion on the offense. That'll back them up 5.
Prior to the snap, false start, 70, offense, 5-yard penalty.
False start backs him up 5. So 3rd and 11.
And just really frustrating for Frankenmuth. Started to get a little bit momentum, some movement. They were going to go back to that left side, and a drive killer right there, putting them in the 3rd and long.
Barger in motion. Horde looking left, deep, and that ball is going to be knocked away. Intended for Travis Brenner, Trace Corlo the 3rd on the coverage. Both of these teams electing to go deep with most of their routes, and they are not having much success.
Yeah, it makes it a little easier for this defensive back into the boundary. He does a really good job of making ground up while the ball's in the air, and that is not pass interference. He gets there. There's a little arm action for both sides, but he gets in the face and squeezes that body. He's just not going to get that call in the state championship game.
4th and 11. And they will go for it from the 31 of Gladwin. Scoreless game. 7 minutes to go, 3rd quarter of the Division 5 state championship game.
Watch the counter pull here.
Quick toss, left side, trying to set up the screen, but Gladwin all over it. Earl Esline stops any potential big gain, and Gladwin will take over on downs.
Yeah, I thought a really good play call. Just would have liked to see it go to the wide side of the field. There just was no room to work. And with the defenses flowing and running to the football the way they have been all day, there just wasn't much of a chance for that wide receiver to get out and make a play.
Tight end Brendan Shaw on the reception. So Esline does it on both sides of the ball. Again, 8 two-way players. They lean on their most talented players on both sides of the ball. Give right side, and it's just going to be end up being a dive play for Esline. Ball came loose, but he was down before the ball popped out. Esline averaging 13 yards a carry this year, and he's been absolutely shut down. So far, just 7 total yards. Second and 9 from the 31. Nick Wheeler takes the snap, hands it off left side. For a moment it looked like there was room, and there was for a moment. Jace Massey is down. The ball came out again. Jace Massey on the carry. Frankenmuth claiming the ball came out before he was down, and Massey stays down. He is hurt after being taken to the ground after a very short gain. You can see him holding the lower part of his left leg. He's hurting right now.
Well, you see Frankenmuth and Gladwin have that version of dive to set something else up. For Frankenmuth, it's the option. For Gladwin, it's the jet outside, and they get the edge, but just unable to turn it up. Again, both defenses just running from inside out, turning back. The ends are doing a good job. Corners are doing a good job of turning the offensive player back into the teeth of the defense.
You could see the knees clearly down before the ball came out. No, that's tough. Jace Massey can't put any weight on that left leg. The junior backup quarterback, and also gets some carries out of the backfield this year.
For these smaller schools, Dan, they don't have as much depth as a bigger Division I, Division II. Any guy you lose is a big problem.
Yep. 3rd and 7. from the 33 for Gladwin.
Look for him to attack the middle of the field. We're waiting for one of these offensive coordinators to take advantage of it.
Rolling right. Wheeler throws right. And again, great coverage. I mean, the Eagles have just had suffocating coverage so far. Caden McDonald was the intended receiver. We've called number 13's name a lot, Will Soulier. He's had 3 at least fine defensive plays on passes.
Yeah, you see him roll out, but he stops his roll so that he could get the ball back to the middle of the field. You saw the drag coming late, just didn't have enough time, try to force it in there. But both defensive backs have had a lot of pressure on both teams to play man-to-man and to cover their guys, and they've been making plays all day.
This ball will be punted away. Good balance inside the 25, inside the 20, and inside the 15. Lucas Mead with a fine punt and a great roll. Ends up being a 56-yard punt. And Frankenmuth, when we come back, will have the ball. That was Trayton Siegert on the punt. Detroit Country Day really has a fine program. Anybody who's followed high school football knows they've been in the finals a few times. So what Frankenmuth did to Detroit Country Day last weekend was so impressive, and it's worth repeating from earlier. 0 first downs for Detroit Country Day and minus two total yards. That's what Frankenmuth has been doing to teams all year long. 38-0 over a really good Detroit Country Day team, 171-13. That's the combined scores of their games to get to the state championship game. The closest game was a 31-0 win. Those are some good teams they beat, obviously, to get here.
Yeah, and Gladwin's been in a lot of these fights during the year. Frankenmuth not so much, but they are seasoned veterans of being in Ford Field for the state championship. So I think they're more than prepared, and whether they had blowouts or not, this is a juggernaut of a defensive game and exciting to watch.
With the 8 two-way players for Gladwin, they're used to it. So we talk about it's something to watch, but you just get the sense that they're used to it, and it's not a terribly big factor for them necessarily if they're playing both ways. 8 guys.
Yeah, not right now. We'll see what happens in the 4th.
Running left side. Oh, yeah, face mask. It looked like the grab by Caden McDonald as he burst through. Yeah, he grabbed the face mask of Sam Barger.
Personal foul, face mask, number 2 of the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
I don't even know if he got the face mask. It's more like an eye gouge.
Yeah, I think Barger did get it in the eye. You can see the right eye. Pretty red, watering a little bit right now. So that's a big 15-yard step off, obviously, but they were backed up at their own 10. Now first down from the 25-yard line for Frankenmuth. Both teams trying to figure out where the cracks might be in the defense that they are trying to solve. Right side, Horde gets tripped up, but only after a gain of 9 out to the 34-yard line on first down. Nick Wheeler on the stop for Gladwin.
Something you're starting to see with the offensive lineman of Frankenmuth is they're starting to widen their splits a little bit so they can get some space in there. Typically in this veer or double wing, you want to stay really tight and be able to hit those traps and those powers really quick. You're starting to see them open up a little bit so they get some running room.
Empty backfield for Aiden Horde. Has time, goes deep, has a man, caught! Inside the 20 goes Hunter Bernthal before he's hauled down. Touchdown saving tackle. Nick Wheeler on the tackle to save 6 for a moment. It looked like Bernthal would score a gain of 56.
Yeah, right here in the wing, and we have been talking about it. Attack the middle of the field, you get a skinny post, nobody's there, you're going to get picked up man to man. He carries it a little past the hash. Big play for Frankenmuth.
Parker, the man in motion, Horde on the keeper, keeps the legs driving. That's a tough couple of yards to the right side. Isaac Hale on the stop. Oh, and that's a big potential loss for Gladwin as their nose tackle. Dominic Coates is down and he's going to be attended to. This play is stopped. He has been a force today in the middle at the nose tackle spot for Gladwin. Sometimes what we see just cramping, sometimes players moving indoors. Certainly warmer conditions than they've been used to the last few weeks. I don't know if that's the case with Coates. Looks like they're working on the left leg for him, but that's just not a guy they can afford to lose.
No, and that 5-2, those tackles are so important, especially stopping the trap, stopping the power. Hopefully this young man's okay.
Yeah, it looks like a cramp. And you know, sometimes those can go away quickly, but oftentimes we see it. It's sometimes very hard to get it worked out. So we hope for him that if that's what it is, he can come back, because he's been a force.
Yeah, very odd. Standing around a pile and all of a sudden it just drops.
Huh.
Well, if I'm Frankenmuth, I'm running right at that tackle spot right now. You know, you have a big body that's out, senior leader, and really there hasn't been much sledding there on that side of the defense for Frankenmuth.
Adam Samolak Aiden Samolak, the left tackle, is listed as the backup at the nose guard. He's just a sophomore. He's a big guy, and we'll see if that's indeed who does come in at the nose tackle for Dominic Coates, the senior.
It's time for one of these offenses to capitalize. A couple that have been down in the red zone a couple times each of them.
It is Samolak in at the nose tackle. You don't lose much in the way of size. You lose some in the way of experience. Second and goal. Handoff. Left side. Banging his way forward. Griffin Barker gains 4. Setting up third and goal in a scoreless game the last 3 minutes of the third quarter.
A really good job there. Just a 23 blast. You're getting the lead block, kicking out the DN, and they got a really good yardage there on second down.
Third and goal. The give left side keeps the legs going and into the end zone. Touchdown, Frankenmuth. Griffin Barker with the touchdown, and Frankenmuth is on the board first.
Yeah, you see here right now, you're just going to get a lead back. He's going to go ahead and he's looking right for the DN. He's going to kick him out. Good job of working half the body. And pops in and gets in there. Linebacker's just too late to fill.
Brendan Marker was the up man, and he's the one who provided that final shove. So Marker clearing the way for Barker. 6-0. And now the extra point attempt by Will Soulier, who was as reliable as anybody could possibly be on extra points this year. Look at the drive. And then the help for Barker from his teammate, Marker.
Braden Ritchie there playing out linebacker, walking up as an end. Does a pretty good job because he doesn't allow the lead back to run his feet on contact, but the rest of the defense just late getting there.
Before the extra point, Frankenmuth, somebody called time. I believe it was Gladwin called time. Will Soulier is the kicker for Frankenmuth. We talked about his prowess as a field goal kicker. He's 68 for 69 on extra points. Well, that's good hard running right there.
In a game like this, I don't know if you want to waste your timeout on an extra point, so that's very confusing. They're going to need those at the end of the game if this game holds up the way it's been going.
Upon further review, the signal of a touchdown is good.
There it is.
They want to take a look, and you have to have a timeout, and you get charged to timeout.
They get that. Now, if they would have been correct, they would have been able to keep their timeout correct there.
That young man has had a heck of a year. Will Soulier. They've called his name a lot defensively, but he's been absolute money as a kicker. Movement up front.
52, false start, 5-yard penalty.
That's the center, Hunter Smitzer. But backing it up 5 is not going to make really any difference for Will Soulier, given the leg that he has and how good he has been. It's worth repeating. 13 field goals this year to go with his 68 extra points. And this extra point is up and good. Splits the uprights. So Frankenmuth gets on the board first. After a scoreless first half. 90-yard, 6-play drive. This big catch. Fingertip catch. Down to the 10-yard line, setting up the touchdown run. Hunter Bernthal on the catch. And then Griffin Parker on the drive. Gladwin flying G's will try to answer back when we come back. 7-0 Frankenmuth. '90-yard touchdown drive for Frankenmuth. The big play in the drive. We talked about how both teams were taking big shots downfield, and this time it worked. Aiden Horde to Hunter Bernthal.
Yeah, and you see number 3 right here. He's in the slot, he's tight, and he's going to really work. We've been talking about this all day. There's nothing in the middle of the field. There's no help. You have the shallow linebackers, and then you have the deep help there. Go ahead and run it, and you're going to see the skinny post there, and he just crosses that safety's face. He gets up the field and makes a big-time catch here, put him in scoring position and getting the first points of the game here in the Division V state finals.
So Gladwin now will try to answer back, Justin. But they haven't found anything that works. You're going to stick with what you're seeing in terms of what they can do. You still believe that middle of the field is where they can work the passing game.
I do, and I think that they need to work some counter action off of those jets and also off of the dive. Get some counter action, see if that works. Maybe bring back the screen game. The stop passes were working for you earlier, but use the medicine that Frankenmuth just gave you on them and go attack the middle of the field. The linebackers are shallow and you have no safeties over top.
But they've got to try something a little bit different because Frankenmuth has absolutely shut them down.
Yes, and you're starting to see Frankenmuth get a little lean on offensive linemen right now. They're leaning right now, meaning they're getting downhill with the backs, and that could become a problem.
Soulier has had 37 touchbacks this year, make it 38. That's a real weapon, and his head coach Phil Martin made a point of that earlier. Keep up with everything MHSAA on social media. Look them up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You get football finals updates, event announcements, video highlights, high school sports news from around the state. It is the best way to connect with the MHSAA every day. Big possession for Gladwin. First score of the day comes 9 minutes into the third quarter of the state championship game in Division V. Wheeler's going to keep it, has room, big gain on first down across the 30-yard line. Biggest gain of the day for Nick Colin Main brings him down, a gain of 14.
.66 you're going to see here pull. There's penetration by Frankenmuth, but the quarterback's able to see the vision and get upfield for a big first down.
Give is to Esline. Good cut. Back inside. Look out. He's in the open field, and he's got wheels. Cuts it back inside the 30 before he's knocked down, and Gladwin is on the move.
See the left guard right here. See right here, he's going to pull, and you got some dancing bears up front we featured in the beginning of the game, but this is just a tremendous cut in vision against the grain. You get the cut back, you take it, the defense is flowing to the right, he cuts back to his right, and he's gone for a huge gain, putting Gladwin in scoring position.
39 yards on the gain. Esline gets the ball again, and whoa, he's going to be swarmed in the backfield, a loss of 3.
Try to go back to the well one too many times there, Dan. Really good job of number 37 from Frankenmuth. He's crossing Jack Vanderhaar. He crosses the face of the guard and just penetrates the backfield, causes some disruption, lets those linebackers clean up.
Colin Main in again. He's been all over the place today. Fine defensive end for Frankenmuth. 2nd and 13 from the 30. Wheeler rolling right. Quick toss, and he's got a man. Caden McDonald inside the 10. Gets a block, steps out of a tackle. Touchdown! Gladwin answers back. 30-yard touchdown strike from Wheeler to McDonald.
See right here, they're going to work the outside receiver inside to the middle. We've been calling it all game. Attack the middle of the field. You had the safety playing off the slot. Thought he was going to go there, but it was a deep route. And just a great job there by Caden McDonald, catching the ball, yards after catch, and making a big touchdown to get Gladwin back into this game.
Anna Seebeck, who set a MHSAA record for extra points last year, 56 this year, will attempt the extra point to tie it up. Whistle blows.
Prior to the snap, 66 offense, false start, 5-yard penalty.
Nothing's coming easy today, Dan. So this extra point and pushing it back, it's always significant.
So Anna Seebeck with the 5 yards will be lifted for the kicker with a little better leg, Trayton Siegert. He will attempt the extra point. Has not attempted many this season. Kick is up, and it is good. How about it? Each team scores in the 3rd quarter, and can't talk enough about how big that was for Gladwin to answer back after Frankenmuth went 90 yards to take the 7-0 lead.
Yeah, huge emotional boost. You do not want to have a 3-and-out or get stopped again and lose a lot of confidence in your offense. It's a good boot, and he sees everything's going one way, and the wide receiver from the outside, number 1 wide receiver, Caden McDonald, comes from the outside on a quick slant and takes the rest of the way for a big touchdown. Really good catch, good coverage, just did not play the upfield shoulder and break the hands down. Defensive back for Frankenmuth. Caden McDonald does a really good job of catching and running after.
Boy, he just squeezed it in. Great look. Good camera work there, guys. I mean, just over the outstretched arm of one guy, in between 2 others. A 39-yard run by Earl Esline, and a 30-yard touchdown strike from Nick Wheeler to Caden McDonald. Both runs featuring terrific cuts to gain a lot of extra yards, especially that touchdown run for Caden McDonald after the short toss. 7-7 game with a minute to go in the third quarter. Kickoff by Siegert will be a touchback. First 8 drives of the day, this is what Gladwin did. 56 yards. They averaged 7 yards of possession, 7 yards of drive. The last drive, 80 yards when they needed it most.
Part of the Sasante sauce was Frankenmuth. Don't allow home runs. You're not an offense that's designed to come from behind. Obviously, it's tied up right now, but they definitely want to respond. And don't allow Gladwin to get comfortable.
Aiden Horde calling the signals. Handoff right up the middle. Not a whole lot there for Griffin Parker. A gain of 5 though on first down. One more play and that will get us to the end of the third quarter, but you would think Frankenmuth, because of what you said, they've started to get a little bit of rhythm in their running game, might want to continue to start to grind it out and try to drive this ball down the field largely on the ground.
There's one play I haven't seen them run, I've seen on film, and that's a 43-44 counter double pull, and it's a big chunk play, waiting to see if they run it.
In motion is Bernthal, but in the backfield, wow. Nowhere to go for Griffin Parker. Lincoln McKinnon was right in his face the second he touched the ball. Forward momentum gives him 1.
Yeah, you see the down lineman right here, and you're going to see his quick hands. Goes unblocked right there and just sees it. He's been having quick hands all day, causing problems. He's a big man to ignore, and he just comes in there untouched for a big tackle for loss.
Here we go. Fourth quarter coming up as the whistle blows to end the third. Each team, every player on both teams holding up the 4, heading to the fourth quarter. We've got a good one. Each team with a score to end the third. We head to the fourth quarter tied at 7 at Ford Field in the Division 5 state championship game. Two years ago in his second year as head coach at Gladwin, Mark Jarstfer, you see him in the background there, was a little bit frustrated with some of the games and how they had gone because of the kicking game. He just felt like he lacked that consistent kicker. So what did he do? He went to the soccer teams. The girls team, the boys team said, who has the best leg on your team? Well, on the girls team, number 10 there on your screen, number 6 in uniform today, Anna Seebeck. So he brought them out and said, can either of you guys kick a football? They both said yes. They've both been terrific. Trayton Siegert is the other player. He's number 11 on your screen, and they have been sharing the kicking duties the last 2 years. It's worth repeating. Anna Seebeck set an MHSAA record with 60 extra points last year. That was broken this year, but what a year she had. She's had another good year this year. She's also a terrific volleyball player. Trayton Siegert, both continue to play soccer. Both have played in every game on the football team this fall as well.
Well, I'm a girl dad, and that's inspiring to my little girls. I tell them every day you can be anything you want to be.
Right.
But the mind can conceive, the body can achieve, and I'm proud of that young lady for her accomplishments.
That's pretty neat. Frankenmuth, 3rd and 4 from their own 26. Rolling right, Horde will keep it and dive for the first down marker, but he will come up short. Frankenmuth will face a 4th and 2, Lincoln McKinnon. A little more on his shoulders now with Dominic Coates out. He's in on the stop. He's had a very busy and active day, and we do see now that Dominic Coates, the big nose tackle, number 77, is back in the game, and that is great to see.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's a big piece of their defense. Frankenmuth smart to punt this. I know a piece of them being here so many times and not coming up with the ship. They wanted to go for it, but good job punting this ball and relying on your defense.
Nobody back for Gladwin. They weren't believing the punt maybe. But Travis Brenner is not only going to get the good punt off, but also a good roll, an extra 10 yards on the roll. And Gladwin will get the ball in a tie game on their own 20-yard line after a 57-yard punt by Travis Brenner of Frankenmuth. Well, the second half page of MHSAA.com gets you closer to the action. It has features on high school sports from around the state, weekly Coaches Association rankings, coverage of state tournaments and finals. It's a great read, fresh contact almost every weekday during the school year. Make the MHSAA second half your first stop for high school sports information. First down, keeper. Wheeler, not much. Again, Wheeler can be very explosive. We talked about the explosiveness of Earl Esline, and we certainly saw that on the last drive, but Nick Wheeler can do the same.
And hats off to the defensive line, Gavin Smith, Carter Weiss, Brendan Marker, Jacob Vanderhart. They're just doing a really good job of bottling things up inside. You've seen Gladwin have a lot of success over the season in those inside power leads, QB leads, those type of runs, and they bottled it up for most of the day.
Derek Simmons, number 74, in there as well now, but I agree, they've done just a great job of making almost every play a chore for Gladwin. Wheeler in trouble, will keep it, makes two men miss, and he's going to turn something that could have been a big negative into a positive. Actually got it up to the 27, setting up 3rd and 3. Great job by Wheeler.
Yeah, and I like the action in the backfield and the motion just to throw something different at Frankenmuth, but the play just took too long to develop, and that's why it broke down. Great job by that young man, Nick Wheeler, making something out of nothing.
3rd down and 3.
Go back to that stop pass. You see number 2 at the top right there, wide receiver second in. He's uncovered. He's got about 10 yards off at the defensive back.
It's going to be a keeper, and Wheeler had some room, but in the backfield, Jake Vanderhaar made the stop. There was room to run, but only if he had gotten past that guy, number 37, Jake Vanderhaar.
Yeah, there's a part of you as offensive coordinator, you are stubborn to make what got you here work, but you have to start taking what they give you. Obviously, we saw some opportunities Frankenmuth and Gladwin took across the middle of the field. Just doesn't work there with the quarterback draw.
This punt will go end over end, kind of the rugby style punt, and that's going to work very well. Punted away by Trayton Siegert, the kicker. 44-yard punt with the good roll. 9.5 to go in the 4th quarter. Tie game, scoreless at halftime. A 90-yard touchdown drive for Frankenmuth in the 3rd quarter, answered by Gladwin going 80 yards the other way. 2 big plays on that drive, capped off a 30-yard touchdown pass from Nick Wheeler to Caden McDonald. Frankenmuth's score, Griffin Barker on a 3-yard touchdown run. Horde hands it off right side. Barker, a gain of 3. Jace Massey in on the stop for Gladwin.
Eventually, one of these lines, offensive lines, are going to pose the will on the other team's defensive line, and I think that's really Frankenmuth's mindset right now. They've been here enough to be comfortable in these situations, and they're going to start trying to lean on Gladwin's defense.
Bernthal in motion. The give is up the middle, and great work by that defense again. Who else? Dominic Coates on the stop. Griffin Barker on the carry. No gain, setting up 3rd and 7.
Yeah, let's look at big man in the middle, 77 Coates. You see him right here. Go ahead and run it. And you see they're trying to buck trap. They're going to try to take this guard and kick out, and it just gets blown up by big 77 Coates. And that you can't run a buck trap when you have a man that size in the middle and coming off the guard's pull.
How about the strength of the one-arm tackle while he's being blocked by the center, Hunter Smitzer. Keeper on third down, and it's going to come up short. Aiden Horde on the carry, but Jace Massey brought him down 2 yards shy of the first down at their own 39. All day long, Phil Martin has elected usually to kick it away, but this time, state championship on the line, he's going for it on 4th and a short 2.
Well, if you have a really good 2-point play, do it now. You want to slip it back out. Everybody's expecting to run. Try to slip it back out of some play action.
And timeout called. It looked like a little bit of confusion there before the play. You had Barger in motion, but then he went back the other way, and that's when quarterback Aiden Horde called time. We'll take a break as well. Frankenmuth facing a 4th and 2 in a tie game. 7.5 to go in the Division 5 state championship game. This special presentation of the MHSAA football finals on Valley Sports Detroit is brought to you by Figer Law. Nobody knows the law like they do. Figer Law. And by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first. Timeout Frankenmuth right before a 4th and 2. We'll see if they decide after talking things over. I'm assuming they won't change their minds about going forward here. Phil Martin says go get them. What are you looking for here on 4th and 2?
I'd like to see something to the wide side of the field. Give yourself some room. I like that motion they did, and then bring it back to the option the other way. Give them something that they have not prepared for. If you have a really good 2-point play, run it.
Barker behind the quarterback. Horde will get the carry right side, and he's got the first down. It was a tough 2 yards, but he got it across the 40 to the 42. 1st and 10 Frankenmuth. Caden McDonald and Nick Wheeler in on the stop.
And Dan, this is a defining play in the game, in my opinion, because you just willed yourself there. It's a blast. Everybody blocks down. Lead back is kicking out the defensive end, and they get it. And this is what championship football teams have to do. They have to get the tough yardage in tough situations.
Brendan Marker, again, remember he helped on the touchdown run. He threw a big block there, again, for Griffin Barker. Toss, reverse. Looking deep, but you're going to throw short to Brendan Shar. Terrific coverage downfield. Travis Brenner was going to throw deep. It ends up being a gain of 5. Phil Martin, the head coach, is not happy about something on that play.
Yeah, he wants a holding call. We realized they were getting caught, and the safety grabbed the wide receiver, but really savvy play there by just recognizing, hey, I got nothing deep. I'm not going to do anything stupid with the ball, and I'm going to get it out. Good job there.
Didn't force it. Travis Brenner made a good decision, the senior. One of the leading receivers for Frankenmuth. So a little trickery, didn't do a lot, but they did gain 5. Bernthal in motion. He'll get the ball, trying to run left side, and he gained a few out to the 50 to set up 3rd and 2, a gain of 3. Lucas Meade, Caden McDonald on the stop.
They've really been seeing a lot of their success behind Derek Simmons, Aiden Betts on that left side. Continue to feed it and run behind those big boys.
This is what they can do. They can control the clock. They can grind it down. They can get 3 and 4 yards at a crack.
And right now you're playing for 4 downs, Dan, so whatever play call, you know you got another play in your bag.
Give. Bernthal, right side, bounces off a couple of tackles. That's Barger, and he's going to get it inside the 45. Great job to break a couple of tackles and gain 7.
Yeah, really good job by Gladwin battling it up, the end staying out, but he just penetrates upfield a little bit. Barger feels that and bounces it for a really good first down, keeping the sticks moving.
Clock taking just over 5 minutes to go. 7-7. That's Barker in the backfield with Aiden Horde. Barger in motion, but Barker gets it, and he'll get a couple of yards down to the 40-yard line, setting up 2nd and 7. Isaac Hale's been busy. That defensive line for Gladwin, they've been in on a lot of these stops. They've done an excellent job against a high-powered Frankenmuth offense. It's averaged 41 points a game.
Dan, we talked about it. Gladwin has a lot of two-way players, and we've wondered if it was going to come in and be a factor. And I think that you're starting to see Frankenmuth is holding on the ball, going for some 4th downs. You're starting to lean on them. We're going to see if it becomes a factor that they have these two-way players playing in Ford Field first time.
Barger gets the fake, play-action fake, deep down the right side, and overthrown. Wheeler on the coverage. Intended receiver was Colin Main. For Gladwin, it's 8 players. Frankenmuth only has 2 two-way players, which really I have to say is unusual. What Gladwin is doing is more the norm. 6, 7, 8 guys are two-way starters when you get to Division 5, Division 6. And again, you've got the quarterback. He's been in on a lot of plays, but you can go right down the line. 8 different starters. 10th play of the drive for Frankenmuth. Bernthal in motion, Horde on the keeper, and there's number 54, Lincoln McKinnon, to smother him. All-State on the offensive side at left guard. He's been terrific on the defensive line today for Gladwin.
Yeah, looking at the far side down lineman. Look at him right here. Big boy with great hands. He's watching his keys. He just gets off the block. They're trying to get to the second level, but they have to account for Lincoln McKinnon. He's too big, too strong. Big tackle for loss. Flex on him, big boy.
He doesn't look too tired to me. One of those two-way starters. 4th down, and what a job by Gladwin. It looked like Frankenmuth had something going. The punt, trying to get it inside the 20, and the bounce goes Gladwin's way. The punter, Travis Brenner, actually did his job to get it inside the 20, but the bounce went back. And a little break there for Gladwin. 3.5 to go. Just a 19-yard punt, and they'll start at their own 22. A 7-7 game. Gladwin with the ball when we come back. A 7-7 game, 3.5 to go in the Division 5 state championship game. Let's revisit Sasante Sauce for Gladwin and the keys for them. We did see your first key in the 3rd quarter.
Yes, and they need to find it again, and they have the ability to do it with their playmakers. Again, they've been staying disciplined on defense. They really had a long series there. Bounce back, get the stop, and now we need a big play here. And again, I'm going back. Attack the middle of the field with those linebackers so shallow and not really true safeties playing.
Fans standing on both sides of the field. Reverse. Meade. Almost brought down. He's going to keep it. He was looking to throw, and he too is going to make something positive when it looked like he might be hauled down in the backfield. He gains 7 before being hauled down by Dane Reef.
Dan, literally 2 teams that mirror each other than their formations. They just came back and gave Frankenmuth exactly what Frankenmuth just did to them. Again, Meade being very savvy, not throwing the ball away or into traffic, and gets a big gain on 1st down.
Made something out of what looked like absolutely nothing. Wheeler's in trouble. Good shiftiness. Has a man wide open. That's Lucas Meade. Down the far sideline. Inside the 40. Inside the 30. And Gladwin's on the move again. 43 yards. Nick Wheeler to Lucas Meade. At the 28-yard line. The give, left side. Good gain on first down. Earl Esline gets the carry, a gain of 5.
Yeah, you see here, he's just going to take. He's under a little bit of duress. Meade comes wide open from across the formation and does a great job of catching and getting yards after catch. Big play Gladwin needed. And now you got Frankenmuth on their heels a little bit. See how they respond to the big play.
Good downfield blocking. Caden McDonald helping him out to get him some extra yards. 2nd and 5. Tie game. Final minute and a half. Left side. Big hole for Earl Esline. First down, Gladwin. Two timeouts for both teams.
We see this right guard here. He's going to pull right here and opens up a big hole. You see the lead block, though. Let's forget about the pulling guard for a second. Logan Kokovich, he has just been laying the wood all day on offense and defense. Comes in with a huge lead block, allows that pulling guard to come in and get to the second level.
First down at the 14. 1 minute to go in the state championship game in Division 5. Esline again has room. Inside the 10, another gain of 5 before being brought down by Riley Hubbard. Trayton Siegert getting ready.
I think if you're Frankenmuth, you know what situation you're in. You hope to get a stop right here and you get some timeouts to hope to leave yourself some time to respond.
Esline slow and sore getting up. Hobbles to the sideline. Timeout was called by Frankenmuth. But that's not a guy they can afford to miss for any length of time. And Earl Esline, number 33, is hurting a little bit right now. Head coach Mark Jarstfer talking things over with Logan Kokotovich. Look at that block by Kokotovich. You've been impressed with him on both sides of the ball today, Justin.
Yeah, he's somebody is watching film over their season. Has just been a phenomenal job of just being dynamic and tackling, running the football, blocking the whole nine. Really does whatever he needs to for the team. And that's a really key block there to get them in the scoring position with about 40 seconds left in this game. Now, if you're Frankenmuth, you have to manage this clock because you want to hold them to a field goal or a field goal attempt and have enough time that you can drive down and get your own.
Frankenmuth fans in red down below us on their feet. Gladwin fans in blue across the way on their feet. They added 5 seconds to the clock. Esline stays in the game. His carry up the middle nets him maybe a yard or 2. Down to the 7-yard line. Clock ticking. 2 timeouts for Gladwin, 1 for Frankenmuth. And it looks like Gladwin may be content to settle for a Trayton Siegert field goal. Third down. They can get a first down at the 4. Esline again will be right at the first down marker, and he got the first down, but really you're down to 11 seconds. You're down to 1 play, maybe, before you try the field goal. There's a look at the young man who's going to get the shot if need be. What would you think? Well, they're just going to let the clock run, and they're going to go for the field goal. Clock stopped at 5 seconds.
If I'm Frankenmuth, I'm using my timeout to freeze him a little bit. It's a state championship. I don't care who you are and how many field goals you kicked. We've seen the Lions miss one the other day. That was crucial. But obviously, this is what you practice for. This is the state championship. To win on a field goal with no time left would be amazing.
You almost never see a state championship game come down to a field goal at the end. But Mark Jarstford told us before this game today he has great faith in both of his kickers. Trayton Siegert has the better leg, so he gets the shot here. Nick Wheeler just drove his team down to get into field goal range and a chance at the first ever state championship for Gladwin.
Call a timeout. Let him set up and call the timeout.
And that's exactly what Phil Martin will do. Does he use both of them?
I think they're out now.
Well, that was it. That was the third. Yep.
Yeah, but you know, you want to really set up your field goal block, and the great teams that get here this far, they practice their special teams. They practice the attention to detail a little more than the next guy. So you know they have something dialed up here. See if they can get home. And on the other side, Gladwin has to do a really good job of protecting. Don't assume that this is an easy free kick. This is for the state championship.
What a good football game between these two. Defenses dominate really most of the day. Each team with a long touchdown drive in the third quarter. Frankenmuth scores first on the Barker run. Gladwin answers back on a 30-yard touchdown pass from Nick Wheeler to Caden McDonald. And now Trayton Siegert is going to be asked to win it. A 21-yard field goal attempt. Trace Corler the third on the hold. The kick is up and it is good. 2 seconds to go, but Gladwin is that close to their first ever state championship. The junior kicker didn't flinch, blasted it through, plenty to spare. The soccer player. And boy, does Mark Jarstford's attempt to find a new kicking game 2 years ago by looking at soccer players, has that paid off in a big way.
Special teams is 1/3 of the game, and it has been a big factor today. Turnovers, special teams. Some big plays when everything was bottled up in the first half, 0-0. We have a 10-7 game, still 2 seconds left. Anything's possible. If I'm here, I'm really squibbing the ball and not letting it get to their deep men, not letting it get to their best athletes.
You've got some guys with some wheels. I can't imagine anything other than a squib right here.
Squib or a pooch.
3 deep men are Barger, Bernthal, and Rich. Gladwin will use their final timeout before the kickoff. You think they just wanted to see how Frankenmuth was going to look like? They just went into the traditional, obviously, receive alignment. But you know that they've got to have some hands guys up front to try to run some kind of a lateral. That's all you can do at this point.
Yeah, and I'm trying to shift some of my guys if I'm Frankenmuth. If they're typically back, I might put them at the second or front line just because they may get the football. And this is something hard to practice. You got 2 seconds unless you can just keep the time on the clock and go for a Hail Mary. But you also don't want yourself as Gladwin to take any plays off or be out to lunch for 2 seconds and something bad to happen.
But your goal is not to kick it deep here if you're Gladwin. Make him run the 2 seconds, make him make an impossible play.
Yeah, if you do kick it deep, it's in the end zone and you make him Hail Mary it up, put everybody back. But the safe bet is to squib or to pooch it, let that clock run out.
Siegert, who just kicked the field goal, will kick off. 2 seconds left. And it is a squib. And all Frankenmuth can do now is try a whole bunch of laterals. 25. Was it a forward lateral? Nope, not yet. They are still alive. Barger keeps it alive. That throw is forward. The flag flies, and Gladwin is going to win it. The Flying G's of Gladwin have won their first state championship game. Boy, we've got to love these fans, the Frankenmuth fans, cheering as loud as they can for their team. The Gladwin fans making noise on the opposite side. Mark Jarstfer took over a program in Gladwin a few years ago that had had some success. He went 1-8 in his first year. But he has really built something special these last 3 years, and it culminates today in their first ever state title.
Hats off to Gladwin's coaching staff, players, and community. A great win. Hats off to Frankenmuth. I feel for you. I understand as a coach. I went to 4 state championships and ended up on the wrong side. It is not a good feeling, but your culture has been built, and what you've done for these young men will be invaluable for the rest of their life.
It was actually fun to see 2 defenses shine as brightly as they did, and 2 talented offenses just try to figure some things out as to how they could crack. For instance, that Frankenmuth defense that had not shown any signs of cracking until the 80-yard touchdown drive to tie the game at 7 in the third quarter for Gladwin.
It was a great chess game on both sides. Both staffs very well prepared. You can see why they're here. And obviously there has to be a winner and loser, and Gladwin takes home their first ever state championship.
Well, our Southeast Michigan Ford Dealers player of the game is this young man, number 11. Boy, he just calm as could be. Trayton Siegert stepped up, 3 field goals this year, and he was asked earlier to fake the field goal. This time asked to kick it, and he drilled it. And what a moment as the entire team turns toward their fans. Gladwin is a town of right around 3,000. I mean, that looks like 3,000 across the way.
That is more than 3,000.
That's more than 3,000.
They picked up some people from the Bay Area for sure.
Their fan base obviously extends beyond the town limits, and that's pretty neat. Both of these teams were looking for their first ever state title. Frankenmuth came to the finals for the first time 2 years ago in that always strange COVID season, and it didn't feel the same with almost nobody in the stands. This time they had the full sea of red from Frankenmuth supporting them. Gladwin had never been here before, and they brought everybody and then some from the Gladwin area. The whole county, I think, made its way. The hand for the runners-up, and your point is a good one. You've been here before. It is tough, but you have to appreciate what you have done if you're Frankenmuth, because this is a great season for them.
It is, and you're leaving something for the future. You've been here now a couple times. You're going to get one. You just keep doing what you're doing to get here. It takes a little bit of luck, a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice, and things to go your way. This is 3 hours that your whole season and everything you've done in your football career comes down to.
Now the hand for Gladwin, the Flying G's. Head coach Mark Jarstfer in his 4th year hoists the trophy and gets surrounded by his team. Well, that is going to wrap things up. Our final score from the Division 5 state championship game: Gladwin 10, Frankenmuth 7. For Justin Sassante, a pleasure working with you, Justin, and our entire Valley Sports Detroit crew. I'm Dan Dickerson. Thanks for joining us. Coming up next, Division 3 state championship game featuring defending champions Detroit Martin Luther King, perennial powerhouse Muskegon. It's going to be a good one. Stay tuned. Good night, everybody.